All right, I think we're live. Except I gotta get Instagram going. God, Instagram just has like this 30-second delay that always throws me off. But we are live. It is the third official Market Monday. And this week is finally a fun week. No more of the split courses and pro-ams and honestly just brutal tracking like all together. It's tough to be a golf fan during Torrey Pines week, or not Farmers Week, but actually Farmers Week too, because of the North Course, but really just Amex is just kills it. And it's just such an awesome time for golf too at the beginning of the season. So usually we get the Century, which rocks. Sony is awesome. And then Amex sucks. Torrey Pines is kind of okay because the weekend kind of heats up. And then you really get cooking here with WM, Pebble Beach, Riviera coming up. It's about to be a fun week of golf and a fun stretch of golf. But I kind of want to start this show off going over the discussion that I've seen taken over golf Twitter, which is the whole winner without Scotty discussion. And it's interesting because I think it's really starting to, obviously he's dominating, so everyone is nervous about it. But it's funny because the irony of it all is that if you're discussing it or thinking seriously about just betting strictly in this market when it comes to outright winners, then you're basically implying that you think Scotty's going to win, or that you have a good indication or a good thought that you think Scotty's going to win. I saw someone say well, he's going to win half the events, so you might as well bet the without Scotty market. And it's well, if you think that's the case, why are you not just betting Scotty in general? What are we doing here? It's right now, I think his implied win probability is 28% or 30%, depending on what book you look at. And it's pretty common, I think, in the last 6 months when he's been on this insane stretch, is that it's pretty much always going to be either plus 200 or plus 300, in between that range. So the implied is going to be between 20 and 30%, right? So if you think he's going to win 50% of the time, then yeah, your ROI might not be as big as you would hope, but you're going to be profitable if you bet him to win every single time he tees it up. So that's number one. I always think it's hilarious that basically what you're saying is, if you're betting this market, you think he's going to win, but people who bet this market never bet on Scotty. So that's number one. And then number two is implied probability is always taken out of this conversation. Completely. It's always just people who are basically scared that their entire card is going to get busto because Scotty Scheffler goes, ape shit. And if there's anyone who should be scared, it should be me, because we had it was not last year, but the year before. He broke our hearts at the Players. He broke our hearts in the Olympics. I can just name so many of them where it's a Sunday was terrible because Scotty was coming from behind and winning, or just running away with the field when he was tied. But I rarely bet those markets, and it's because you have to look at the implied win probability. If you would, right now, let's take the Scotty at 30% win implied. So if you run 1,000 tournament simulations, 300 of this time, or 300 times, he's going to win, right? Okay, so that's where you're sitting at with the implied win probability of Scotty. So then you have to take within that 300 times that Scotty wins, how many times is your guy going to come in second? And then you also have to factor in what's the chop going to be, because if you would take the mean of people who finish in second place, overall, solo second, T second, or T2 with 2 people, T2 with 3 people, so on and so on, what's the mean going to be? And then you have to calculate that into what your ROI is going to be. And then you have to go in and say, okay, well, what's the ROI if I just bet this straight up and don't, take the odds of Xander Schauffele this week, where it's 15-1 in the without market and it's 22-1 in the normal market. It's what's over the long run, if you run 1,000 simulations, what's your better ROI? So I don't know. It reminds me a ton of the free bet blackjack table in Vegas, or honestly any place that has a casino now. It's pretty popular. It's a no risk double down, no risk splits. But if the dealer hits 22, it's a push. And when you first see people who don't know anything about, advantage play or implied win probability, anything like that, they think it's awesome because you don't have to risk more money to get a double or a split. But in reality, there's still a huge house edge. They're not just, this isn't just a free money giveaway. And it's the same thing with the winner without Scotty market. Like, there's a massive house edge there. And it's a higher hold than the normal outright markets that have good numbers, like your bet onlines or your circas or even prediction markets with Novig and ProfitX. Like, if you can just, basically what I'm saying is if you get the better number in those on a guy who you like, sure, you might be in the 30% simulation where your guy loses to Scotty Scheffler, but the ROI just gets slashed and there's no edge there. It's not like you found this magical market that all of a sudden you're going to have, profitability because you're betting a Scotty without market because Scotty beats you all the time. It's not anything you need to seriously, like, I don't know. You don't need to go crazy in that market is what I'm saying. And you have to run implied win probability. Even if you don't run models that give you implied win prob like ours, like you need to have some type of system to where you're quantifying what a guy's price is. You're not just betting the guy because you think he's going to win that week. That's pretty much the whole reason of the show. It's to shine a light on that. That's like this, this is a market and the market moves. And it's sometimes a guy's good bet at a certain number and other times a guy's a terrible bet. So anyways, I'm just blabbering now. So let's get to the first segment, which is where the market was wrong, where it was right for last week at the Farmers. Where it was wrong, Siwoo Kim had a decent fade at the Open and then a huge fade on Wednesday. I think we covered the Open fade on Monday night. He went from like 25-1 on Bet Online to 28-1. And I think it was even a bigger fall, if I remember correctly, at the legals. And then on Wednesday, he went from like 28-1 to 33-1 at some places. So obviously, market was very wrong. Huge fade. He's been tearing the cover off the ball to start the year. Strokes gained tee to green at the Farmers, 8.1. Strokes gained tee to green with only 2 rounds recorded that we have for the stadium course at Amex, 3.5. And then strokes gained tee to green at the Sony to start the year, 11.1, just on a freaking heater, which is hilarious. Not to jump ahead, but he's getting faded again at DraftKings. He opened 27-1, and there's already a move back to 31-1, which is crazy. DK is doing these like off numbers. It's like it makes my head explode when I read them. But yeah, getting faded again, crazy. Market was seriously wrong. Where the market was right. This is a fun one. Aaron Rye. He didn't even tee it up, but this is how you know the market was right. He opened at 50-1. And then he got faded on Monday night, went back to like 60 or 70-1. Then he got faded again on Wednesday, and he went back to 80-1. And then like right before tee off, he like plummeted. I think he closed. I say closed. He withdrew. I think he closed like 100-1. And this is it's kind of like the same thing in like a tennis match where if you see something on the sell side, obviously tennis it's different because a guy's going against someone. So it's like if you see a certain player's number just plummet, it's a rigged thing, but it's not that Aaron Rye is rigging the event. It's just that someone knows something. I think it was some type of injury that he had. Obviously that information got leaked somewhere. And someone somewhere, whether it was bookmaker or some type of bettor getting down on the sell side, I don't know how you do that, but maybe fading the round or fading tournament matchups, whatever it might be, knew that he was hurt or ill or whatever was wrong with Aaron Rye, and the number plummeted. It's like if you know something goes this like far south in terms of like a number sinking on the sell side, you know that you're probably in a bad spot. On the buy side, it's not as clear cut because you never really can tell how a guy's going to perform. It's more of just some guy who is respected by the book and markets out there is taking a lot of equity or taking a stance on a guy. But on the sell side, it's usually injury news or, equipment, like a guy switched out a driver or something like that. and it really, you can see a number like seriously plummet, like we saw here. And Aaron Rye screwed every daily fantasy player and withdrew like 3 minutes after lock. So that's where the market was wrong. I don't even know what happened to him, to be honest with you. So if anyone wants to fill me in on the chat or DM me on X, let me know. But all right, let's see who's taking money. So I'm gonna start with Bet Online because I took a screenshot like right at open. And to be honest with you, it's pretty quiet. I'm starting to notice that as like I go more in depth on these shows. Like, I mean, obviously I'm been looking at these markets for years at open and at Wednesday, but it's more of like, looking at people that sometimes I would never look at someone who I knew was a bad course fit, or I knew that my model was going to like hate, like every model I ran was going to like not like that player. I'd never look at them, but now I'm pretty much taking notes on every single player in the field. And Bet Online really does not have that much action on Mondays, which is surprising to me because I think that would be like where you see the most action, but a lot of it comes on Tuesday and Wednesday, as I'm finding out. But Goddard up is taking a little bit of money, 50-1. Now he's down to 40-1 on Bet Online. Oh, I missed the headline. Scotty's taking money there. He opened 250. Now he's down to 225. So it doesn't sound like much, but again, that's a 2% implied, 3% implied probability move. It's going to be the biggest that we talk about, like overall for the entire market. But really, this one to me is not so much like sharp money's coming in. It's that I think Bet Online was just off. Every book I've seen is opened at 225 or even lower. DraftKings opened 215. So it's more of like them getting to market consensus, which I'll get to with DraftKings. So this isn't a huge like, oh my God, he's going to win. It's more of like, all right, they're just adjusting and getting to market consensus. Thorborgson, it's always such a hard name for me to say, as I'm sure with a bunch of you guys out there. Opened 65-1 at Bet Online. He's down to 60. Did touch 50-1, but then bounced back up. Same with Kitayama. He just went from 65 to 60. Then Jake Knapp's taking money. He went from 60-1 to 50-1, which is surprising. But I guess looking at the data, it does like TPC Scottsdale has this notion that it's a second shot golf course, which it is. Approach matters a ton, but it has favored bombers like in a big way these last 5 years. So I'm not surprised to see all those guys. I mean, Thorbergson is an awesome par 5 player, can hit it a mile. Goddard is, I think, second tee or strokes gained off tee, maybe first. I need to look at the updated metrics. Kitayama was a ball striking machine last year, and obviously Knapp can move that thing. All right, DraftKings. Scotty opened 215 and is now 225. Like I said, this is like market's just basically getting to consensus with Scotty. Let me see. What is he on I'm like looking at my notes. Let me see what these. Yeah, 230, 225, 230, 240 BetMGM. I bet BetMGM gets to market consensus. Yeah, so it's not like you're getting like a super sharp move here or a big fade. It's more of like everyone is trying to get the same number with the betting favorite. Xander goes from 20-1 to 19-1. Well, he's got some better numbers out there. FanDuel's hanging a shit number at 17. FanDuel is sharper than DraftKings though, so something to make note of. But Bet Online is my source of truth with this stuff. That's what I like to bet just because it's the best market, has the lowest hold. And he's 20-1 at Bet Online, so it's not like the sharp books are at Xander, quote unquote. Cam Young went from 26 to 24-1. Siwoo, I just said it got faded, 27 to 30, 31-1. I think Siwoo gets some buyback. I really do. I don't think, like I just said, those numbers, tee to green, sharp people out there look at that stuff, obviously. And I know it's a big correlating, or not correlating, but predictive course history, which I'm going to get to later. But, and I don't know Siwoo's entire record here, just sad, but I think he gets bought down again. Like it's just so hard to pass up a guy hitting it that well, where this is really a course that putting isn't massive, and just to see him get faded, like that's going to steam back down. I mean, let's see at these other ones. Yeah, 25. That's crazy. We'll see. Ours is a little late. I'm pretty sure I just We'll have to refresh it, but I just saw 31. So maybe it just flashed for some reason, but that's going to come back down. All right, keep it moving. Goddard up, moved here. He had a big move, open 45 to 1 on DK. Now he's 35 to 1, I believe. And then Sepp Straka, a huge fade. This is going to be either the market was right or the market was wrong next week, no matter what happens. He goes from 75 to 1 to 85 to 1. And then I think he's like 88 or like 90 to 1. Let's see what the odds screen has here. Which, like, I don't not understand. I mean, Sepp is a guy that, I mean, you look at half these guys. Yeah, 88 to 1. It's like the guy Sepp has legitimate win equity. Like he has won twice last year. And he's getting these numbers where look at these dudes who are ahead of him. It's like I just don't understand it. I mean, I know Higo had a good fall, but like what are we doing? 80 to 1, he's better. Sahith Theegala, who he's definitely showing flashes that he's back to being a good, legitimate player. But 44 to 1, he was like had to fight for his card last year. And Sepp Straka is 88 to 1. Like, what? That's the stuff to me that's just like, man, what? It just makes no sense. I'll just run through some of these to see like huge discrepancies. This is like I say it every week. These two are gonna be off, they're gonna be off numbered from what you'll see at FanDuel. FanDuel, I'm just finding out is just a shit market. I mean, they just have such a high hold. It's I mean, we're gonna add Bet Online here. It's hard to scrape. Just full transparency. But like I'll just pull it up. Let's see if I can share my screen there. Oh, how do I change this? I don't know. It's gonna be bugging. I'm not gonna do it. But just go pull up like Bet Online, or I mean, you guys probably don't live in the Circa state. If you do, pull up Circa, or even like Novig or Profit X. If when the markets get released, I don't know what the fill. I'm not a huge prediction market guy. Being transparent, my brother handles all that all that stuff for fills. But like, go look at those markets in the outright market compared to what you're getting at FanDuel, and it's not even close. It's like you're never going to get a better number. Just how it is. So let's see. Trying to find another person who's off. There's not really too many. Sam Stevens 90 to 1. I guess that's decent. This honestly has been the most like the tightest consensus we've had since I've done this. Why is Jordan all the way down here? That's no. Yeah, it's tightening up for sure. Okay, here's one, Michael Brennan. But let's see what he is on Bet Online, because that could just be, like I said, FanDuel having the shit market. No, he's 225 to 1 on Bet Online. So I mean, so yeah, never mind. So yeah, that's FanDuel just sucking. Brooks, where is Brooks? There he is. Again, I don't know why our scrapers putting people down. Look at this: 45 at FanDuel, 32 at DraftKings. The offshores have him at. Where is he? Why can't I find him? 35 to 1. So that's a good number at DraftKings or I'm sorry. Interesting. I think this is a great place for Brooks. That's a nice segue to what I wanted to talk about next. Let's see if I can pull this up. Let's go to Bet Oh, now it's taking forever to load. I'm gonna wait for my spiel. All right, hold on. My screen's bugging right now. So I model dashboard because I don't know if it's just my computers too. If I need to like get a better computer, if my Wi-Fi is bad because I'm on Wi-Fi instead of hard drive, which I know is a no when you're streaming. But I mean, it just absolutely just nukes um, the speed of this. I mean, it's still loading. This is crazy. All right, I think I'm back. Oh, that was insane. Oh, I'm still loading. This is nuts. I can't believe it's to what is going on? StreamYard's just dying on me. No, let's go here. All right. Are we back? Okay. We're back. My God, I have no clue what happened. I'm gonna see if we can. I'll just do it for my spreadsheet so that we don't kill the stream again. I mean, that was insane. But basically, what I was going to talk about is that fact that like there's few courses through the PGA Tour that are just strictly like horses for courses, extremely high um, uh, predictive course history, and TPC Scottsdale is one of them. I think it's fifth. Is what I found out today, or I wrote. Um, Essentially in predictive course history. And it's like behind like staples of what you would, the poster child for predictive course history, which is like Augusta National, Bay Hill, Riviera. And then actually what I found is that TPC is high on predictive course history. Is that not insane? Would never think that would be a course that had a high rating in terms of that. Just 7,200 yards. It's a par 71, which I like because instead of having one of the par fives, Weiskopf basically replaced it with a short drivable par four, which we all know. That basically, in my opinion, it's funny that 16 gets all the attention because 17 is legitimately the biggest swing hole on the course and is going to decide the winner. Essentially does it every year. It's technically a desert track, but it's not really a desert track because it's not like you don't see the like the features that you see like TBC Summerlin or like Black Desert, even to where if you miss the fairway, which Black Desert, obviously it's like a landing strip, it's a huge fairway, but if you miss that fairway, you're basically dead. There's like lava rocks. And Summerlin's kind of like that too. If you miss the fairway, it's tight and you're going to be in like a bush or a cactus or something. And TPC Scottsdale has that aspect of it. Like I remember, everyone remembers Jordan Spieth. Was it last year or 2 years ago where he had that incredible save where he was like legit in some type of waste bush and somehow made par. But like it has those features on certain holes. And then there's some holes to where it's almost like parklandish where there's trees and, you know, you can miss a little bit, like 15 yards off, you know, the cut of the fairway, and there's still going to be some rough there. It's a weird hybrid. And I think that is a big reason why it's so predictive and why, well, the main part to where all this data pulls from is there were seven two-time winners in the last, I want to say 15 years. I forget what the sample size was that we were looking at. Scotty, Hideki, Brooks, Webb Simpson, Tony Finau always plays good here. Xander has good numbers here. Jordan always has good numbers here. So it's like, the leaderboards are essentially pretty predictive, which is what all that's telling you. But it is so unique in the aspect of it. One, that it's not Parkland and it's not a desert style. It's its own hybrid. And then two is you don't get an atmosphere that you get week to week on tour at the WM. It's totally different. It's like the only tournament where it gets rowdy and guys might be feeling, I don't want to say Ryder Cup-ish nerves, but they're going to have more nerves on tee boxes than they would at, TPC Deer Run, no matter what place they're in. It's just how it is. 16 is a gong show, 17, you're right there. And then 18 is huge too. So it's like those three holes, you're going to experience a crowd in something that you don't experience ever. So it's kind of by nature, people who get up for that style of golf are always going to get up for that style of golf. And if you hate that aspect of it, you hate going into the stadium, you hate it being loud as shit on 17 for the most important tee shot of the tournament, you're just never going to like it. So yeah, it's just in that aspect of it, it's very unique, I should say. So that's why, in my opinion, that's why I think you see the cream rise of the crop and why these guys always play well at TPC Scottsdale or guys always suck. So here's what we have. This is strokes gained at TPC Scottsdale for the last 16 rounds. Nick Taylor, Scotty Scheffler, no surprise. Xander, no surprise too. Look, there's Siwoo. Yeah, I'm surprised he had a huge fade. I really am. That is shocking. I doubt we see it finish where it's at right now. If 31 is still up there, I would take that right now because you're going to get a better number. It's going to close better. Let's see who just sucks and this is only pulling guys who have at least 12 rounds of data. Vince Whaley, Matthias Schmidt. That's kind of surprising since he's a bomber. That's really surprising because Matt McCarty is. I feel like if you and this maybe that's why I wrote in my newsletter today to everyone. It's like don't even look at correlating course history this week. I think it's a meaningless week. Excuse me. I don't think there's a true course out there, even TPC Summerlin, that gives it a yes, this is a great comp, and the crossover is huge. I wish Sharpside Golf didn't cause my stream to crash because I would like to show the correlating leaderboards, and because it's not high at all. TPC Summerlin is decent. TPC Scottsdale, it was pretty interesting. It was pretty much if you play good at waste management, you were going to play good at TPC Scottsdale either that year or the following years. If you're an elite player, like Wyndham Clark did it. I forget who was another guy that we had up there. Oh, Robert McIntyre had a top 10 at the waste management last year, and then he also had the top 10 at the Players. So That was like the only one that caught my eye. But yeah. Anyways, getting back to Matt McCarty, it's interesting that he plays so bad here because he's a good approach player and he won at the Black Desert. So I thought that'd be a little bit higher. Just going to go through this, I guess. Just scroll slowly. If you want this, it's in our bio on all socials. It's for free with the email going over what I just said. Mav, top 10 here after a good showing. I'm sure he's going to take some money later in the week. Charlie Hoffman week. What's his number? I had to close everything out. Charlie Hoffman always pops up here. Michael Kim had a great showing. I bet he takes money this week too. I guess I'll just close that crazy end of the stream to be saying, like, I think Xander's going to fall back. I think Siwoo's going to take some money. I think Hideki's going to take some money. Jordan's definitely going to take some money. It's all going to be public, but I wonder if it moves at all. 55 seems kind of like a crazy number. Sepp is a great buy right now. I mean, I cannot believe he's at 88-1. If you have a healthy DraftKings account, it's at least worth $5 because that's going to close, I think, around 70. I think you're going to get a better number on Bing Griffin than is right now, and I think Cam Young, you're going to see a little bit of fade on that. So I'd wait. But yeah, that's the stream. Sorry we had the insane fuck up there when I was trying to load the model, but I guess we learned that StreamYard cannot take that stress. But I think we're going to do another one before the tournament just because it is WM week and it's fun. Like it's a fun week to talk about, opposed to I don't really love the Farmers and the Amex sucks. But like now we're getting into just an awesome stretch of golf tournaments. For viewing wise and betting wise, like, and everyone who's complaining about Scotty, you're getting a great market. Don't bet at the shitty FanDuel and DraftKings market. Go look at Bet Online, the prediction markets. Hit up a relative who lives in a circa state, and you'll get a good market. It's fun. But all right, thanks for tuning in. And again, we're gonna try to do something here later on. My thread's gonna be posted tomorrow. And then if you want to get the sheet that's on here right now. And basically, we do 2 newsletters a week. So we do one you need to know, and then a flat-out newsletter that is like 5 things, whether it's an edge or some type of metric sheet or simple 50-50 model, whatever I make, that gets sent out too. So if you sign up for this sheet in the bio, it's the Strokes Canada TBC Scottsdale, excuse me. Then you get put on that list automatically. So then you get 2 emails per week of what we're looking at and just good shit, basically. So thanks for tuning in. Good luck to everyone, and I'll talk to you later in the week.